Hi everybody, the One Meta here, and thank you for once again joining me on my journey as I reread all the stories on my favorites list on fanfiction.net. We're up to July 2009, so let's keep going with that. Alright, so only a little over a decade to go. Jeez. Alright, let's hop in. First story is Parents Returned by Draco Halo 117. And this is a mess of a fic. So during the Chunin Exams, in canon, Orochimaru, when he attacks, he summons up the first and second Hokages to fight with the third. In this one, instead, he decides to summon up the fourth Hokage and his wife, and then sends them out to into the village to just kill everybody. And then as they're killing people, they stumble across Naruto, and poof, all the brainwashing is gone, and they're just back to life. Seems like it was a full resurrection completely, and they're just back to life. Okay, that's step one. And then afterwards, they try to reconnect with their son, Naruto, and Naruto just refuses to believe that they're his parents. Just adamantly refuses. And then what follows is just them constantly trying to, convince him, while he just keeps adamantly denying it, and other missions continue. So what's wrong with this fic? So a lot of the reactions that they have, all the characters have, are super overblown. Anytime anybody even badmouths Naruto in front of Minato or Kushina, they basically kill them. It's just like, and this is again the cliche of all the villagers are just calling Naruto demon at the top of their lungs and wanting to kill him at the drop of a hat and all that stuff. And then they're crazy and all that stuff. They're just yelling and basically dressing down everybody who interacted with Naruto and did not help him. Sasuke is a huge asshole as always, but he only plays a minor role, really. He's not there that often. Naruto is an asshole in this, like huge asshole. Like he just yells, and like he just like verbally assaults anybody who even hints that he might be related to the Hokage and stuff like that. And then he also just becomes a non-emotional. He becomes kind of like Sasuke in that he's just like super non-emotional, only cares about himself and training, and just wants to be left alone and all that stuff. It gets tiresome. The plot ends up going with just like Minato and Kushina hitting one roadblock after another when they try to get evidence. Naruto just keeps yelling. Anyway, like, we just find out that apparently, like, a whole bunch of girls just want him. And I mean, not just Hinata, but like Temari ends up wanting to be him. And it's like, hey, I need to get into a marriage, and what a coincidence, Naruto happens to be there. That's great. I liked him even before I knew that. But then when they go try to do that, boom, he just is an asshole and just shuts them all down. And you just start getting really... Not only does it get annoying with him as Naruto, but because the author then... Like, Naruto, after he abuses these people, leaves the scene, and then we spend time seeing the other characters who are now brokenhearted and, like, crying. And so you start feeling more and more sympathetic towards everybody else, and just more and more annoyed at Naruto. Like, at this point, you just want to just shake him until he accepts the truth. Because it's not even like this is one of those fics where it's like, oh, the parents... Like, there was, or, like, it's common in both, I've seen in both Harry Potter and Naruto, where it's like, oh, the prophecy was there, so we have to abandon our child, and we'll hide out, and the parents will hide out, and then once everything's done, they'll come back and be like, hey, that's cool, we're good, we're here to help you, and now we can be a family again. It's like, that wasn't the case. They were actually dead. Like, the only reason he's rejecting is like, oh, no, the villagers would never have treated the fourth Hokage's son like they treated me, so they must not be my parents. And like, that's just, I can see that work, like, I can see that as a first reaction, but then it just consistently keeps going, and it's just really irritating. Basically, I did not like anybody in this fic, really, and yeah, it's a waste of time that I'm gladly gonna kick off my list. Alright, next is Harry Potter. We go with Masters of Death by Ruskbyte, and no, this is not talking about the Hollows. This goes back to, so this guy wrote a previous story that was on my list. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but this was oh, there it is, Something Grim This Way Comes, which was Harry basically replacing Billy from Billy and Mandy, but then they still go to Hogwarts, so he's friends with Grim and Mandy. And this is the same thing, except instead of Grim, the Grim Reaper being like Grim, he is instead portrayed by like the malevolent force from the Final Destination movies that just likes to make elaborate death traps for everybody. And then apparently because of that kind of death, Harry and Mandy are now much more cold and uncaring, and also all up on the sex, and they're fucking each other at 11 years old and all this stuff constantly. Okay, fine, whatever. But how's the actual story? So this is only one chapter that literally just is basically the train ride to Hogwarts, and I guess you could say the sorting feast afterwards. Like, it's basically just that one day, and there's one Final Destination-esque sequence in it, which is feels like it would fit in the movies just fine, the way everything works, though a lot of extra pain gets dealt out that Final Destination movies usually only reserve for the one guy they're gonna kill. I don't know, it's just nothing there that's super connected or resonated with me. There are some dark or evil Harry stories I can enjoy, but this one's just more uncaring Harry, and when your main character doesn't care about anything, it's kind of hard to make you care about him. Like I said, that one scene is okay, but you can safely skip this one and not miss anything. So it's gonna fall off my list. Alright. Next, going back to Naruto, is Time Braid by ShaperV. And this is actually another kind of like alternate take of a previous fanfic that I'd read. This is actually kind of based on Chunin Exam Day by Perfect Lionheart, and can actually be taken as a side story of the fic. This one instead of following Naruto, so Chunin Exam Day, if you don't know or don't remember, was a time loop fic where Naruto was stuck basically repeating the Chunin exams constantly. Apparently it has a reputation. I mostly just found it to be a meh story that's just over-explaining on how he keeps getting power-ups and just keeps over-explaining all the power-ups. This is similar, except it focuses on Sakura as the main character. It's really similar, not only just because it's got the Chunin Exam Day, like it's the same time loop at the same time, but what's interesting is that she starts interacting with other loopers, including a Naruto who seems to be following like the early steps of the Chunin Exam Day Naruto. Like, so that's there. And so while there's a lot of similarities, there are a decent chunk of differences that I feel makes this a more interesting story than Chunin Exam Day. So Chunin Exam Day, the arguments against it, I reread my review for that just to get back to this. So basically, I felt Chunin Exam Day just spent so much time explaining stuff that that a lot of time was just wasted and not entertaining. Here, there is a lot of, like, Sakura does get power-ups and starts learning stuff and does that, but honestly, the training she does gets skipped very quickly, and the looking for training instead of Naruto, where it goes into like a 7-page explanation for why he knows how to cook. This will just be like, oh, I found this person to teach me, and then it'll be like a page about their interaction, Sakura interacting with her teacher in an interesting way, not just, oh, he taught me this and this was the cut and everything. And like it's more about character interaction than the other one was, I felt. And like I said, the loopers being able to interact with each other very, very rarely becoming antagonistic to each other, I feel is pretty interesting and something I don't really see. Like, the only other loop fics that really have multiple loopers that are not automatically working together is like the immortal time loops, and those are very much in a more comedic tone. So even if they are slightly antagonistic at the start, eventually everybody just starts becoming one happy family, or like just starts like just fucking with each other in a fun way, and they get along even if they hated each other in the original loops. Here, these guys two of the loopers become the big bads essentially. I'm not a huge Sakura fan, and I was kind of hesitant to read this because of that, but this makes a good case for her as an interesting character and how she can grow, and I would have liked to have spent more time here, but this is complete, and that's another plus. I actually really like this fic, and if you like Sakura at all or want to give her a chance, this is a great fic to do that with. And yeah, it's going to stay on my list. Alright, now we go over to one of my favorite video games, which is Persona 3. The story, and the story is called Persona 3, Fairly English Story, FES, by Sam Jazz. And this is a pretty simple premise. Like, it's basically the plot of Persona 3, with the difference being after Minato left Tatsumi Island, he went to Britain and grew up there for 10 years instead of just staying in Japan. And that changes his personality, makes him more of a cocky asshole and stuff like that. And aside from that, for the first month or so of the game, which would be like the first shadow, like after the Priestess Shadow, it's still basically the same with just cockier Minato. And then he taunts the Reaper, and the Reaper just says, oh, you want to play this game? Well, fuck you, let's up the stakes, and turns the world into hard mode. It starts escalating very, very quickly after that. The writer in the thing states that he wanted to replicate Shinji in Warhammer 40k in tone, which was another fic that I had reviewed earlier. And it delivers near the end, like, the escalation becomes really huge. Like, Minato eventually becomes named public enemy number 1 by the government and reaches rank 11 on the social link scale for everybody, which lets him start summoning the frickin' personas outside of the Dark Hour just in normal place. It becomes super interesting and super action-packed really quickly after that. I have a few issues with the writing. Like, I feel like some characters, we missed out on certain scenes. Like, the first time we saw the Persona 3 Hermit social link, which is the 2 bookshop owners, maybe I missed it, but I feel like the first time we saw them, Minato's already talked to them like he's known them and met them for a while and something, and like I feel like feels like a couple scenes were missed. But one of the main gripes is worst girl Yukari becomes the main love interest, and like I don't like Yukari in this game. But yeah, the pros way outweigh the cons. I really enjoyed my time with this fic, and if you like Persona 3 at all, you will too. So yeah, this stays on my list. Oh, also, it also delves into seeing the Persona 4 characters a bunch, because so you get snippets of those. So if you like that too as well, give it a look. You'll enjoy it. And now going on to Persona 4 with Fortuna Favet Fatius by Fortune's Revolver. So this is a Persona 4 time travel fic which occurs on occurs on the bad end of if you don't rescue Nanako on like Christmas, and then the shadows just come into the normal world and kill everybody. This is it's okay, Minato doesn't even get his memories back until after the 4th chapter, so the first 4 chapters are basically base canon with just him occasionally going like, what is this, feels familiar. And then after that, it still doesn't seem to change much. Like, Soji holds the stuff like to his chest, so the only real change that occurs is that he gets Yosuke and Chie together right after like Yukiko's dungeon, or like in the very beginning. And also the story feels a little narrowly focused. Like I kept going and reading, and it gets to like kanji, and I still haven't seen any of him and Soji, or however you want to call him. He doesn't even interact with anybody else outside of the outside of the investigation squad's team or his family, like Nanako and Doji. Like, we don't see any other social links or anything else happening, and it's kind of just it's okay. That's it. Like, it's perfectly serviceable. Very little changes. There's nothing amazing or super intriguing about it. There's no interesting take. Nothing that's there. It's not complete. It doesn't. It ends pretty like. It seems like something's about to end with like Naoto getting access to the Velvet Room, and then it ends. That was the last chapter, and it's like. Maybe it could have been more, but this is basically just a dull fic that's gonna slide off my list. Alright, back to Naruto again with Kitty by Isili Thinks. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. But yeah, this is Naruto when he's like 8 years old, 6 or 8 years old. As a kid, runs into Ni Yugito, who is the demon container of the two-tailed cat, and she's like also acting a little crazy and acting like a big house cat, so Naruto just decides to adopt her, and then shenanigans ensue. Like, it's short fic that has short chapters that are all about like Naruto treating her as a cat and her coming to her senses, and just deciding to stay with him, and all the other people around them just acting just slightly off, and it's a bit humorous, decent fun. No huge laughs for me, but there's at least a couple chuckles every chapter. It's an okay fic, but not funny enough, not super funny enough to stay on my list. Okay. Next is go back to Harry Potter with The Thief of Hogwarts by Voluminous8. And okay, this is another alternate take of Harry Potter, starting from when he's a kid, where he just learns the value of the 5-finger discount. Just starts stealing whatever he wants, and it's really fun. Like, it's just a fun universe that I like spending time in, and I like I like seeing these characters, and I enjoy their journey. Like, that's really like, it's like something so simple, and there's definitely better ways to articulate it, but that's what this fic has. It feels, it's got an easygoing vibe, light sense of humor. That's just, again, like, no huge gut-busting laughs. Maybe that's just because I've read it so many times, but also just constant chuckles. I was very, very happy and enjoying myself throughout the whole fic. And, it feels like it ends too soon, not helped by the fact that it's not complete and only gets to, I believe, the summer before his 3rd year. But I still enjoyed everything that's here. The characters are all fun. It jumps POVs sometimes to other characters, as well as characters that are just completely off, and just seeing small snippets of humor from people that are just nowhere near him, which I really enjoy. Basically, if you like simple, fun humor and a fun Harry Potter fic, that, he has Harry jumping and interacting with a bunch of people in fun ways, definitely give this a look. And yeah, it's gonna stay on my list. Alright, last one for the video is Marriage in Mind by Azar Darkstar. And this is a very short, simple story about Harry getting saddled with a marriage contract after the war, and deciding that he's not going to take it, and handles it in a bit of a vindictive way. Like, basically, marriage contract stories can go one of two ways. Either humor and over-the-top ridiculousness, or pain and, like, death, essentially. And this one kind of leans towards the second option, but it doesn't actually do any violence. It's all just threatening. And he does that pretty well. You know, all he does is he talks and lays out some hypotheticals in a meeting, but of a very, very cruel way to deal with this marriage contract. And it's decent, and if you want just a quick shot of of a Harry who stopped letting people walk over him and is like, fuck you and fuck off, okay, you'll find that here. But it's again just one scene, essentially, not very big, nothing super substantial, and nothing super amazing. So yeah, it's good, but it's not going to stay on my list. And there you have it. 8 more fics. 3 of them staying on my list. Thank you for watching, joining me. If you want to read any of these fics, links are in the description down below. If you want to leave a comment if you like any of these fics, or tell me I'm super wrong in my opinion, leave a like if you like the video. Please subscribe if you want to keep up to date. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.